Hello, everyone. We are live, and thank you for showing up if you have. Today, we're doing something a little special. We have a special guest, William Brower. He is a historian for the Titanic. He's running a little late, but I had to start the show because I scheduled it on Facebook. So we are currently live. Um, Everyone, I just kind of curious how you're doing. If you want to drop questions in the chat, whatever you want to do, make sure you let us know. Happy to hear from you. Um, so let's see, what should we do? You know what? Let's Since we don't have our guest yet, let's throw a pitch for Captain Love. You guys can hear the Captain Love song. Sound good for you? Sound good for me. Let's let that roll.
Hi, my name is Drew Ish, and I'm the author of the Captain Love series. Well, I'll tell you all about the second book, Rise of the Pirate King. Yeah, that's a thing. And in this book, you're gonna get everything that you would expect from Captain Love. Yeah, you bet. And I'm blessed enough to be able to use the same creative team. You know what I mean? If you feel like the universe is caving in, you need love to the rescue. And it seems like nothing will be right again. You need love to the rescue. Captain Love to the rescue. All right now. Now, Captain Love is a space trucker and a former war hero. There is even a legend that he may be immortal. He is accompanied by Spade, who's a living AI. Yes, I said immortal. As in, he cannot die. And if it feels like the universe is caving in, you need love to the rescue. And it seems like nothing will be right again. You need love to the rescue. Yeah, love to the rescue. Captain Love to the rescue. All right now. In this book, you'll get space pirates, sexy girls and science monks. There'll be bar fights, space battles, and a lot of awesome junk. There's nudity and violence and swearing within, so this book is mature. That means it's not made for children. And if it feels like the universe is caving in, there'll be love to the rescue. Yeah, and it seems like nothing will be right again. You need love to the rescue. Captain Love to the rescue. Captain Love to the rescue. Captain Love to the rescue. Thank you so much for your time. Please back Captain Love. The book is going to be awesome. Rise of the Pirate King is just the second in an adventure heading forward for many books. Thank you for your time.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon and good evening. How are you?
It's nice to have you here, William. You like to be called William? Like to be called Bill? Is there a nickname
I'm
preference
open.
you
You
have?
can call me anything you like, except for late for dinner.
Well, I'm
Uh,
not cooking dinner, so you can just
no worries.
not worry about that one. Here, why don't you people who already know what's going on? Obviously, I have it pitched in the title and whatnot, but why don't you introduce yourself? We got Pope Van Zant in the chat. We also have Lothar D. Uh, welcome, fellas. Love to see you here. So happy that you're here. William, please, why don't you tell everybody, introduce yourself, and share what it is that your expertise and a little bit about, just let us know about yourself. I'm sorry, I'm stumbling here. Yeah, go ahead.
No worries. Yeah, my name is William Brower. I'm actually an author and Titanic historian here in the South Florida area. I've written 35 books so far since 2003, all the way through till now. I have also put out two scripts that were optioned and produced to feature films. And other than that, just pretty much so your average historical consultant, gamer, um, comic book junkie, and everyday guy.
Well, that's sweet. So that you sound like you like we'll get along.
Well,
I'm
definitely.
yeah, definitely. If I'm looking down, I'm actually sharing the stream out. So I'm don't think that I'm being rude. I have to do this at the beginning of the stream so that people know that we're streaming. Um, we got a lot of stuff that we can cover and not a whole lot of time. I actually am booked to another stream right after this one, so we'll go until I have to leave, but it'll be like somewhere around 7:30 ish, which is why I was tripping when you thought that we were scheduled for 7:30. I'm like, I got a 7 and a 7:30 on my calendar. I don't know. Am I wrong here? Did I book 7:30 twice? It's like you know. It's been crazy. It's a crazy time with the pandemic. A lot of people are live streaming. A lot of people have time to live stream. I get a lot of requests for people to come on and talk about their stuff. What would you like to talk about most? I mean, yeah, obviously you're a Titanic historian. Tell us a little bit about that. Like, how did you get to be a historian, especially specializing in the Titanic? How did that happen?
Well, that one in itself is kind of an interesting and funny story. I
I love
was
those kind.
oh good, and this will definitely be up your alley. I used to spend the summers with my grandparents when I was growing up,
Okay.
and so I was about 5 years old, and my grandfather had decided to take me to the movies, and we ended up running late for our original showing. So instead, as we were walking out, I happened to catch a film poster for a movie called "Raise the Titanic," which is
Okay.
it's actually considered one of the biggest box office bombs of all time. But to a 5-year-old kid looking at a shipwreck getting blasted out of the water, it caught my attention. So we ended up catching that one, sat in the front row, and the movie itself actually starts with archival photos. So by the time we got to the end credits, I was immediately just asking, like, was that a real ship? Was that a real person? Did that really happen? The first 500 questions for the drive home. So
Right. The first
you know
500.
yeah. But and then, instead of brushing it off or anything like that, my grandfather started buying me books about it, and used it as a ways to kind of teach me things like how to handle yourself in a professional dinner situation, um, how to get over your fear of heights, how to tread water in deep water, things along those lines, and you know the more that I learned about it, the more it just fascinated even more. So, before he passed away in '89, he asked if I would continue the research, and so that's exactly what I've been doing. And
That's awesome.
thank you. And
Yeah.
it's been very very helpful to me on so many levels. I mean, I was able to become friends for the last remaining four survivors. I've also befriended a number of people that have been out on the expeditions to the wreck site as well too. And
Wow.
even my first stunt in film actually entailed working behind the scenes as a consultant on a biographical short about one of the crew members.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you've written 35 books. That's a lot of books to write. Obviously, that was over a long period of time. How long of a period of time does that scope go through? So
I initially had my first book published in 2003, and then my most recent book just came out just a little bit before the pandemic last fall, and
so
and
2003. So basically 17 years. You've written 35 books. That's pretty
yes,
impressive.
Thank you.
And you don't just do books. You've also done a couple of short films, and you said games. What else?
I even dabbled, very very roughly in the roughest context, and even a couple of comic books as well too. I'm not a artist or sketcher per se, but I can write a decent story and dialogue, and kind of help out along those lines. And so you know, I'm just the type of person I'm always happiest and content when I'm writing something. So I don't mind breaking new ground or branching into genres or things along those lines. So
Right. So now you said you've written a couple comic books. I know are those actual finished books that we can find somewhere? Or
not at the moment. No. They're just kind of works in progress. You
so
know,
they're waiting to be finished books. They're basically just comic book scripts at this point.
for all intent and purpose, yeah.
Yeah,
Scripts with
yeah.
a few
That's a good
little,
place to be. That's a
yeah,
good place to be because the next step is obviously getting the right illustrator and getting the actual book drawn, and then of course you opt into if the illustrator doesn't do colors and it's not going to be black and white colors, that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's something that I deal with on the regular. I mean, also especially since I have a show about producing indie comics. There tends to be a lot of discussion on that
oh
format.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Um, yeah, please.
you no, I was just saying it's also fun too. Because looking for the right illustrator to match the theme of the project as well too. It's interesting to see what everyone's take is. In the long run when it comes to putting the artwork together. So 'cause even
Yeah,
though it could be
right. The right kind of mood. That you got to have an artist who who shares the mood that you want to have for the overall theme of the book. Definitely. Yeah,
yep,
that is essential because it's not like you can just mix any artist with any story. That just doesn't work. It would be cool. It'd be a lot easier if that did work. I'm just telling you, it's never an easy task. So 35 books. Then obviously, they're not all about the Titanic. What other things have you written about?
well, what outside of the Titanic stuff, my heaviest hitters that I have is a fantasy series that I've been working on since high school, and it's called The Chronicles of the Dragon's Bane, and
Okay.
it's basically my take on a, modern epic poem. So if you enjoy stuff like good old fashioned first and second edition D&D, or even Castlevania and things along those lines, then this would be a series up your alley.
Now,
But
I didn't get a chance to actually all the way preview these links you sent me, but this was the book you're talking about here, right? The
correct.
Yes. Now, this is audio. This is obviously just a written book. So the audio here, is this your voiceover?
No, this was actually a voice actor that I hired, and had he was very nice enough to even do each individual character with their own voice instead of a straight monotone read. So it added a little bit better flair.
Well, that's nice. Okay, well, what I will do is, since we're talking, obviously we don't want to sit and listen to 5 minutes of an audio book. I'm going to post this the title of this is Dragon's Bane, correct? What's the name of that?
Yeah, Chronicles of the Dragon's Bane.
Right. It's a lot to type. I'm just going to go with Dragon's Bane, just
No problem.
for people in the chat who are looking to find that link. So. So that just now posted both on Facebook and YouTube in the chat. So people, if you want to find that, you know where to find it. All right. And then what else would you like to tell us about that you've written recently or before? Like this, do you have another fantasy book that you did besides this one?
Well, this is actually one in a series, and
Okay.
so
How
my
many books
newest
are in the
one
series so far?
so far we've got five,
Okay, five
and
so far.
yeah, the fifth one is actually for the lack of a better word, it's my creativity going into overdrive. So it's actually a travel guide to the world itself. that I created. So, and
Wait,
it
wait.
was
I'm gonna have to ask you a travel guide to the world that you created.
yeah.
Why am I having like all these sensations now of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? It's like,
You have a very good eye. So, and even though obviously I couldn't do it like the same style as Adams, I still say the answer to life is 42. But no, no,
that movie and the book are both the book is far better because obviously there's more to it, but the movie really well caught the spirit of the book. You've seen the movie, right?
oh yes, very much
Yes.
so,
Yeah.
and also the BBC series too.
I did not catch the BBC series. That's something I've been thinking about trying to find time for, but there's just so much to you know what I mean. There's so little time and so many things to access. It's quite annoying. Um, so the I noticed the Legacy trailer is now is that for a book that you wrote about the Titanic, right?
Yes, yes, that's
It looked like I don't think we can play it on YouTube because of the music, I believe, and some of the imagery is copywritten. Um, but it looked like an image of the Titanic going down, and then a mention of the title of the book. So why don't you tell us about it a little bit?
sure. Well, for starters, the imagery that you see on there is actually courtesy of the developing team of Titanic Honor and Glory, of which I'm
Okay.
actually a consultant for. This is actually
So
going to be the
you actually have the rights to that or to use that stuff then. So
I do.
definitely.
I have
Okay,
yeah.
so if I play that, then no one's going to come after me and strike my video. Okay,
No.
but that happens to me a lot. You know what I mean? Because I'll be like well, especially on horror talks, we're using imagery from popular horror movies, so it does come back to get us once in a while. So I like to make sure that stuff doesn't sound, that nothing flags the copyright. So why don't we bring that up? There it is. And wait, did I check the box? Hold on. Let's try that one more time. One more time. My co-host that I normally have with me is having to take care of some family stuff, so he may not be able to make it. And he would usually be while I'm doing this tech stuff. He would normally be talking to you. So,
Oh,
uh,
okay.
I'm juggling two jobs at once while I'm doing this. So, all right,
Well, you're
let's.
doing great so far.
How's the audio on this? I don't hear anything yet. Is there supposed to be sound? There it is. So the legacy. So what would you say that story is about? I mean, obviously the Titanic. That part's obvious, but
Yeah, yeah. That part. that's the obvious part. But basically, what I did was I was fortunate enough to take all of the people that I met over the years and I interviewed them. So these are descendants of the passengers and crew, actors, filmmakers, directors, visual artists, expedition dive team members, um, to name just the general basics. And this is just to ask their thoughts on, why is it that we're still obsessed with a ship that sank a century ago? And, in terms of, with the family members, is the story still passed on like it, around the holiday gatherings and things along those lines? Or is it, the proverbial skeleton in the closet?
Right. Yeah, no, that sounds very interesting. So I guess you can't spoil us by telling us the verdict on that, huh?
Well, I can tell you this much. It depends on who you ask.
Okay, so
So that's not.
they all have different opinions on how that rolls out then.
They do, yes. In fact, in some cases, it's really interesting. Especially getting the entire family together to see, the general consensus of, should we continue trying to salvage artifacts? No, no, absolutely not. Gravesite, yes, yes, let's do it. Great museum quality.
Oh, interesting. So,
Yeah.
what is the message?
Well, the message is that for those that are just going into researching the ship, that there's a lot of things out there that always seem to grasp at people. Some historians actually study strictly the passengers and crew. Some of them look at it from the technical perspective, and obviously those who are of the creative nature utilize it both as an art form and painting, and movies, film, video games, and the occasional comic book as well too.
Okay. Now, speaking of comics, you said that we have those two scripts that you're working on. Um, uh, what is the story premise on those? Is it associated to any of the other projects you're working on?
Well, they are. I'm actually in the process of reverse engineering some of the stories of the Dragonsbane series, and
Okay.
I'm looking into actually taking them and expanding them into new levels. So at the moment, besides the books, I do have a video game. It's an old-fashioned choose-your-own adventure available on my portfolio, as well as on itch.io, the game hosting site,
Okay.
and it's called Death Sentence.
It's called
And
Death
so,
Sentence. So if anybody uses itch.io, check out Death Sentence for sure. Yeah.
yeah, and you'll be in for a fun little treat on that one. It's a dungeon crawler for old time's sake. So,
Ah.
but yeah, I'm reverse engineering them and breaking new grounds again. I'm actually also in talks with a local animator down here in the Miami area, and to taking it one step further into possibly going into a animated series besides comics as well too.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. So, I definitely, when I get my co-host not having his mother issues, like he's taking care of his mother, some family stuff is going on right now.
Hmm.
But when that's not happening, I really want to, bring you back on to like really talk like Titanic for a while. If you're okay with that, would you like to do that?
Oh, yeah, that would be fine. Of course,
Yeah.
I'd be honored to.
All right. Well, I haven't got my link yet, so I'm just trying to like make sure that we've covered the bases for when that comes, so we can stall out until that gets here. Um,
No
but yeah,
problem.
yeah. So uh, I'm trying to think of I had I went off of the list and hit almost just about everything. Now, what's Three Kings?
Three Kings is actually a another volume
Oh,
of
and
Dragon's
Wiggle
Bane.
Wiggle Wiggle here is it says he's subbed. I mean, he's checking you out, man. He's interested in what you got going on there. So we got some people in the chat that you've caught attention on. So this is a good thing. Wiggle Wiggle's
Awesome.
good people too. He's a big purple gorilla. Well, pink
Uh,
actually.
cool. Well, hey, Wiggle Wiggle, cheers from Florida. But yeah, to answer your question, Three Kings is actually that's going to be coming out later on this year, and every epic always has its origins, and so in this case, this is the story of the three warlord kings that are actually introduced as fully grown adults in the first volume of Dragon's Bane. And
Okay.
so, in this case, this is a prequel to the whole series, and it takes place roughly about 30 years before Volume One. So instead of the overly confident, headstrong, and pacifistic rulers that we see in Volume One, this is all of them coming into their role as leaders of their own nation. And so
Ah,
it's the backstory on how they became the characters that they are, and how each one's personality and upbringing, you know, was developed and then played off against the chosen one in volume one of the series.
well, let's give your trailer a look. See here then. Oh, that ended abruptly.
Thank
Like,
you.
let's see here. Wasn't expecting that to end right then. Um, I'm also going to post a link to William's Twitter here in the chat, so you guys can follow him and harass him and ask him questions about the Titanic.
Yeah, by all means, harass away. Neil will also find me on Facebook as well too.
Yeah, actually, if you when you're on Facebook later on, uh, just come and find this video. You should be able to find it on the Indie Comics page, and then say something in the chat in the comments underneath the Facebook video. Then people will know how to find you in there. So
Sure,
it'll be
sure.
really easy. Yeah, it makes it easy. Let's see here. All right. So, is there a link while we're still waiting for a link to come here? Is there a which like I'm on the website you sent me the writing portfolio.
Uh huh.
Is there a film trailer or something short filmish that we can share here while we're still have time to share stuff?
Yeah, actually, if you'd like, you can even show my full film that I have on there called The Message, which
Now,
was
where
my
where would I find that under the films? The message, that one.
yes.
Okay. All
That's
right.
that's my very first feature film, only 2 minutes.
Okay. Well, we shall share that then. Your
Awesome.
feature film. If it's 2 minutes, it's called a short.
True.
Here we go. Message on YouTube. There it is. I
Yeah,
hope I
this
shared
is
the sound. We'll find out in a second.
yeah. If you like Hitchcock, this is that's the high inspiration for it.
Sis, crazy. Even on Skype, you always seem to be on another call. Okay, I'll just leave a message. I've decided you were right since we spoke over Christmas. I do deserve something better than a bag of Maltesers and a night in the pub. I mean, bloody Nora! If I can hold down 2 jobs, why in frick's sake can't he? Yes, we got the eviction notice. But don't panic. I'm going to talk to the landlord about it shortly. I've had enough with the excuses, the rising bills, and not to mention the crappy presents. Sure, it was a choice tonight between dinner or tickets on the London Underground back to Brixton. I mean, there's only so much a girl can take. Leave the door open, and I'll see you soon, darling. Love you much. Bye.
So there's a dead body on the ground as she gets up.
Yep. Starting life afresh.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's nice work. So who was the actress that you used? She a friend or somebody you hired or what?
No, actually, that was the sister to the film director. The studio itself is based over in Bognor, United Kingdom,
Oh, okay.
and yeah, I met the director through a friend of mine who's an actress over in Scotland, and when I graduated Full Sail last year, he asked me if I had any scripts that were in the works or if I had any ideas for anything, and I was like, well, I just kind of threw together a little practice run on something, and it's kind of like a old fashioned Hitchcock thriller, but updating it to a modern sense and audience. And he read it, was like, I love this. You're onto something. Let me get you a film in the next couple months. And
Hey. Well,
you
Wiggle Wiggle appreciated it. He's all, saying, oh shit, she killed someone.
surprise.
Yeah, yeah. Those a nice twist is always good. Yeah. So yeah, that I think that's all good stuff. See, no credit, big problem. What's that?
That was actually my contribution to the Financial Literacy Film Festival, and produced by George Ohan.
Okay,
Um,
yeah, I know George. He's local to my area. Yeah.
yep, yep. Funny backstory on that one. Had been introduced to him, he was just kind of giving me the outline and the concept of the festival, and he was like, "Listen, you're a writer, so let me give you a scenario, and you should try writing a script for this." And as soon as I hear you should try writing, that's my automatic go-to phrase to begin with. So I just brew up the coffee pot, and I just start cracking. So I gave him a script within 4 hours, and
Nice.
yeah, he called me the next morning and left me this long 15-minute voicemail. And he was just like, first of all, 4 hours. Second of all, this is amazing. Third of all, I want to produce this. Fourth of all, how fast can we talk? Here's my phone number. and, and I
Nice.
was just like, wow, okay, sure, no problem. And lo and behold, that that was the second feature project that went into full production, and very very humbling to see just how fast the upgrade from going from novels and books into the script factor, in such a short amount of time. It's been a fun ride, but absolutely humbling on so many levels.
Short films are able to do that. Longer full length stuff takes forever to get done, but short films, due to the nature of the zero or less than zero budget that they have, they end up getting done really lightning fast. You know what I mean? Because
Hmm.
people don't want to screw around. You know what I mean? It's just like, okay, iron's hot, strike, go away. You know what I
Yep,
mean? It's kind of like that,
exactly.
right? Yeah, exactly. Um, yeah, it's you seem like a really great dude, William. I'm glad we met. Now, everybody who watches this now, watches it later, whatever. William's link to his Twitter is there in the chat. So you'll be able to find him. He'll make a comment for the Facebook people, so you can find him on Facebook. I think that you should give him a check out. Again, harass him. I want to see you guys like asking him a lot of Titanic questions. Like next time I talk to him, like, dude, don't tell people to come and ask me Titanic questions. All
Yeah. Don't worry.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
I can reassure two things without a shadow of a doubt. One, it sank, and two, the swimming pool is still filled. So, you
But the
you
swimming
know,
pool is salt water.
yeah, but you'd be surprised how often those two questions pop up on a daily basis.
Did it really sink? Did it really sink? Yes. There would be no premise if it didn't.
Exactly.
Excellent. Well, I'm gonna let you go. We're gonna wrap this up right now, and thank you for coming. And basically, I will be in touch with you again, and we're gonna do and when you we're gonna if you need help finding talent for illustrators and that kind of stuff, there's a lot of illustrators in the comic book community, the indie comic community. There's quite a few. There's even some probably in your backwoods because I know a lot of them that are in Florida. Um, so if you need any help, let me know that kind of stuff. I can point you in some of the right directions. And then we'll definitely get you back on when to talk more about your comic book when it's at the next stage. You know what I mean? So we have something
Go
to
for
look
it.
at because obviously it's a visual medium. You know what I mean? Um,
Usually helps.
yeah, it usually helps. And then definitely I want to bring you on again to talk more Titanic when I have my co-host ready because he was excited to talk about the Titanic and he's got other things going on right now. So we definitely want to arrange that again. Is that cool with you?
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd be honored and happy to come back.
All
It's been
right.
fun tonight.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming, and you have a wonderful night. And we will talk to you soon, William. Okay, everybody, check out William
Sounds good.
Bauer. Check out the stuff he's got going on, and follow him on Twitter. See you, William. Goodbye,
Awesome.
everybody.
Thank you so much again.
Wait. Don't leave yet. We're just going to end the broadcast.